Oh, I tell you what, it's been chaos around here, but we got to plug on. I finally got a whole box of stuff here, and they could get every piece except one, which is back ordered, and I guess I'll talk about that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. This is our Great Plains drill of sadness that seems to not want to play ball. And of course it's go time and it's out of commission, so we need to get this back together like now. I ordered a whole box of stuff, and the only thing they couldn't get, which isn't a huge priority right now, is that cylinder stop. I ordered a factory one again to replace that crappy homemade one that somebody shoved in there. So that's fine. We'll do that this winter, put that in. And I'm sure somebody will destroy this before then, so I'll probably get to see it again. But if we unpack our bag, I have new little cogs, if you want to say. I can't remember what they call them. They have a I don't remember what they call them in the parts book, but it's not what you would think you would call that. I ordered chains using their part number with the idea that they hopefully are cut to length. Yeah, see, so that I don't have to search and you know, cut and try again and whatever. Let's see here. This, I don't remember. Oh, that is the pin that goes to that cylinder lock. And actually, we might use it, seeing as how they didn't have the original, we might use this here. Let's face it, they're gonna lose that right away, but that's what it called for, so we'll do that, and then I'll order another one of those pins for whenever we go to get the other cylinder stop. Here's this piece. I ordered that new. I also ordered that plastic bushing new. I saw it a second ago. There's that. Then we should have, what do we get? Oh, these are the idler rollers for inside of the wheel. I decided they had grooves in them, so I was going to go ahead and replace them. That is going to be sadness. I can tell you that right now. I can just tell you that right now, just looking at the way it's made. And on the parts book, more chain. That's probably the wheel chain. Then again, that could be the wheel chain. I don't know. My question is, there it is. It's in the bottom of the box. Okay. Let's lay that here. This little, they called it a spring washer. I'm not sure how important it is, but I noticed that this one is just practically shot. I don't know if you can, the camera probably does not give that the full effect, but it's actually got a groove wore in it all the way around. It's like cup shaped now. And it's like if you put a little steel ball bearing in there, it would race around in a circle and never fall out. It's that much of a channel that it's made in there. So I figured that was probably a good idea. So, where do we want to start? Well, I could start by putting the clutch back together. I could start by taking the wheel apart. I could start by curling up into a little ball and crying about my poor life choices. That's always a choice. But I think maybe I'll try to put the clutch together and see if there's any more sadness that's headed my way or something I forgot. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stick you right there, and I'm gonna have to get my seat again. All right, well, dealer's choice, friends, dealer's choice. That piece, pretty, right? Inside of here is a plastic bushing. I need to hold it where the camera can see because I'm not paying attention, and that's the whole point. Since I haven't concretely found anything that screams my problem other than slight wear in places. And so one of the things I thought maybe was replace this bushing and then also this hex piece I got, because there was a little bit of slop in that, and maybe that is causing some binding issues. But I do think it's somebody in the comments actually said they had this problem, and I can't remember what he said did it now, but a lot of people, I think what was the problem, and a lot of other people too, said they're probably driving down the road with the wheel locked in. And I think what he said, what he did that caused the problem was he tried to fill up the seat at his house and then drive down the road a mile to the field, and the shaking caused the seed to pack in there, and it wedged. It actually got tight enough that it wedged on the agitators and then broke this pin. So I don't know if that's an issue that other people have had, but it certainly sounds possible. I mean, I'm up for anything at this point. I mean, I could warn them. Another person commented while I'm working here off camera. Another person commented and said, can't you put a sign or a sticker on there? I have tried everything. I drew on the inside of the lids in big letters with permanent marker instructions on things to do and not do, and people just don't read. Either they can't or they won't. So basically you're kind of hosed. This is a no-win situation. They just don't care. I mean, they know that they don't have to pay for it, so they're just not interested in worrying about it. I am struggling greatly. I'm going to probably have to go get some actual tools. I cannot get that plastic bushing to pop out of there, which I guess is good that it's that tight. But it's not good because we got to get it out of there, friends. So let me go try harder, and I'll be right back. All right, are you still there? Good. I got this out. It doesn't look bad, but it was cheap and it's plastic, and we're gonna replace it as soon as we find where we set the new one. There it is. Several people said my problem was that this looks like it's not been greased. I agree with you. You see, I am contracted to twice a year service these drills. Once as it's put away for the winter is when I do it, and then once mid-season. Now, every person that rents it signs the sacred Siegfried Oath, pledging allegiance to our beloved Fuhrer. No, they sign a paper, though, that says that they will, service it, maintain it while they use it, like grease it before they use it, and have it ready to cleaned up and ready to bring back for the next guy. I would say almost zero people do that. So I try to grease the tar out of it in the hopes that maybe some of that grease will still exist whenever I get to see it again. Because I don't usually get to see it after it's planted 1,000 acres and it's in pretty rough shape. So, yeah. What am I supposed to do? I can't. There's no way, even for the office people, really, there's no way for them to tell ahead of time how many acres it's going to get used on. What I'm saying is there's no definite day when you can say such and such day, it's mid-season, it's ready to be serviced, because it just depends on who rented it and for what. It might have done 500 acres, it might have done 5,000 acres, you just don't know. So that's partially my trouble. Is I cannot, I don't know when mid-season is, and I don't know when it's been greased last, and I don't know anything about nothing until it comes back again and I see how bad it is, you know. That's basically what the thing is here. Now, I don't remember if this went here or did that go before the snap ring. I'm gonna have to look in the parts book because I don't want to screw this up. And I guess I just lost the old one because I knocked it down where I can't see it. There it is. I was thinking it was in there under the snap ring, but I'm gonna double check just to be sure that we don't make a boo-boo. But anyway, my point is the clutch does look dry because the last 17 people that rented it didn't grease it ever. They think it's just ready to go out of the box. So such is my life, you know. In theory, this should be a great gig, and it would be if I was not as honest as I am, because even people in the comments said it's the government's money, just, you know, buy a new shaft, buy everything new. Well, I try not to do that because the government's money is really my money that they are wasting, and I don't want to be a person who wastes, you know, I don't want to waste my money, is what I'm saying. I'm trying to be the best I can, you know, give them the best value without wasting money unnecessarily, you know. Yes, eventually I will probably end up replacing that shaft and start all over again, and I'll have to replace this piece because I'll have to drill this out to match the obnoxious hole that's in that shaft now. But the point is, I'm not going to waste my money or waste until we're sure what we got the problem, you know. In the grand scheme of things, having to replace this piece one more time is not going to be as much a waste of money if I'd have just bought it all new and then find out it still didn't fix the problem. So, or at least that's what I'm thinking. I guess you can disagree with me and say whatever, but if that's the case, you can gladly have this job because I'm I'm pretty frustrated with it right now, you know. Because people call and complain to me, you know. Yeah, number 2 clutch friction washer goes behind the snap ring. That's what I thought. But you don't assume. You assume, it just makes an ass out of you and me. So don't assume. Clutch friction washer, huh? Or is that what they call it? Or spring washer? I don't know. It doesn't feel very frictiony or springy to me. But I guess it's a surface, a wear surface for this snap ring, so it don't cut a groove in the, or wear out the snap ring and it pops off maybe. There we go. She looks fine. Uh-oh. We got a problem. We got a problem. And I've had this problem before. I've had this problem before on this freaking drill. This piece ain't gonna work, friends. Why? Because the piece I have is a round hole, and the piece they sent me has a hex shaft hole. And I have had that issue before on these Great Plains drills. For some reason, some of the pieces, they don't play ball. So now, I guess we're not going to do that thing. I don't know what to do, friends. Call back tomorrow and say what the... They're going to say sorry about your luck because I looked up the parts, but why is it that way, Great Plains? Why did you do that to me? I don't think the other side has a hex shaft, does it? Or did they replace... They surely didn't replace this shaft with a hex shaft design, did they? Later on in production. because they put an adapter on that end for the hex shaftness. Well, that piece is useless. We put in a new bushing. Did that make this better? It actually did. I want to think about that for a minute. If that shaft was a hex shaft instead of a round shaft, that means that the pin wouldn't be bearing any weight or any of the strength other than the only thing it would be doing is, yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? If that was a hex shaft and not a round shaft, the pin wouldn't hardly be doing anything except retaining that outer spring, which I think is the only job of that pin anyway with the round shaft. But with the round shaft, it's also driving. It's bearing the weight of the driving. Boy, I wish I knew now whether or not that new shaft was a hex shaft, because if it was, boys, I'd order it right now. If it was changed and updated to a hex shaft. But it didn't say that anywhere in the parts book. And I'm wondering if we look at this now, I need to clean this up good and see. See how they relieved these edges? I don't know that they did that. It might have been that nature did that, like this. And I'm wondering if that's part of my problem too, that sometimes it locks on here. But if you pull it back a little bit, it doesn't do that thing. And I'm wondering if that is part of my issue too, that it's hitting the so you say, okay, well then why don't you just grind relief in that piece so that it doesn't do that thing? Well, that's all well and good, but where does it stop? You know, if I do that, it's just going to keep wanting to wander over this way. Not that it would, because the chain would stop it. Oh, I don't know what to do. I just love it when stuff shows up and it's not what you wanted. I think what I'm going to do is grind this. See, there's a bad nub, which might just be grease, but I'm going to grind this a little bit more rounded, so that if that thing wanders over just a little bit, it won't immediately lock to this, even though that's kind of what you want. But you don't want it to lock to that. Yeah, I'm thinking too much about this, I guess. You want it to spin. That is the problem. I bet you that is exactly the problem. This sprocket should always spin on this hex piece. If it locks up for a second, then that could be where our binding is, because what's happening is our clutch, this piece is hex shaft driven. It's onto the adapter. So it is what is supposed to do the driving of this piece. And so if this locked up at the wrong time, would that put more stress on that pin instead of, I think it would. I think it would put stress on that pin all at once, versus when the clutch went into it and it spreads the load. Well, it's still driving off that pin though, but maybe it's the shock of it catching for just a split second that would shear the pin all the time. That's what I'm working on. It's probably totally false, but it makes me feel better. And even if I relieve this a little bit, what it's going to do is it's not going to let it go too far because the chain's going to hold it. But I'm thinking that might be a good thing to try and see if that fixes it for now, because I'm going to put it back together and try it again, even without that new piece, because I got to sort this puzzle out. I had this problem, I'll tell you where else. I had this problem when I got this seed meter to put on. The stub shaft that was on it was hex, and that wouldn't work, and I needed one that was round, because that seed meter came with a round magnet, whereas I think that other seed meter came with a hex one, and that was a round one. So this thing is a total, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, or why they don't notate it better in their parts book, but I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna grind this edge just a little bit so that it's more smooth, and maybe it won't catch. And then we're gonna work on that and see about getting that back together the way it's supposed to be. And then I guess we'll move down the line and we'll work in that wheel, which is gonna be a total pain, because getting those idlers out is going to be a struggle of sadness. But sure, I'm going to do some investigating also in the next weeks and see if there is an updated shaft that's a hex shaft, because I'm thinking that would probably solve our problem, because the hex shaft would drive this piece from the hex and not the pin, and that is exactly. All right, sometimes I ain't too smart, and I might have just screwed the old poochie, because that this part of the clutch has to be on that hex, so I can't round that off too close to the edge. I did a little bit, but I think it's going to help us more than hurt us, because it's mainly going to be in this piece here. I also am going to make sure that that is lubed well. Right? Little lube never hurt anything. So if I do all this now, it doesn't lock, and it'll work. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have that sharp stop like it did before, and that's what I want. So we're gonna put the snap ring on this and live our happy life, and we're not gonna worry about this anymore, because there ain't nothing I can do with the stuff I got. Basically, I'm saying this is the last go round for this piece and that shaft, because it has been rode hard and put away not well. Another thing I might try is putting a bushing behind this piece so that it can't do this, because then the spring would not be shoving it. The roll pin wouldn't have to be holding force back this away and also this away. Right now, look how it's off by like half a hole if I shove it all the way back, and that ain't right. And if you put the chain down where it ought to be, which I got a new chain that's going to go on there, but should we do it this way? Why not? Why don't we just, for experimental sake, it probably won't let me do that if I go around it that way. Will you let me just mock you up so I can see that that's gonna work? Yeah, see, if I hold that chain tight, let me turn this like this. Obviously that's where it's supposed to be because of that, but I can actually do this, and that is not a good thing. So I'm thinking a few bushings never hurt nobody. I might be wrong on that. You might be screaming into the TV from your lazy boy, but I gotta try something. I gotta try something this time more than what I've tried before, because obviously that's not working. They can still destroy it, but they could destroy a sandbox, so what you gonna do? Oh, I could have went into the house and got my original white farm equipment bushing assortment, but I think I'll not do that. They are not worthy of wasting that. Where did my stuff go? Oh, that's beautiful. I like that much more better. Again, somebody's gonna say, well, that's not right, it's not gonna work. So bad. Well, I don't know what to tell you, folks. I know I've worked on this a lot, and it has frustrated me to the point of not caring. I mean, I am so totally over this thing. It's just ridiculous. I mean, what am I doing wrong here? My brain just shut off again. I know that's a shocker. This has got to go on there, right? Why is this not lining up right? Come on, brain. Catch up to the chat. That ain't right. It's because that piece doesn't go there. This is the piece that goes in the fork. This piece goes down. I knew my brain would pick it up eventually. There we go. That's got to go on there. And this one's got to go on here. And you do all that magical stuff, and look what happens. The hole lines up. Now, case may be, or what I'm saying, last time this was so mangled and destroyed, I ended up having to drill it out. And it's still not perfect. And I'm scared, because if I go much bigger, I'm going to weaken that edge to the point that it's not going to go anymore. And I don't want to do that thing. So, what I'm going to do is immediately fail at getting my drill loose. But what I'm going to do is run my drill through this now and make sure that it's really the size that I want it to be. Actually, the size I want it to be would be the original size. But that ship has sailed because of other people's sadness and impatience even. You know? It's just it's a sad affair, friends, that we just can't seem to get life to work with us a little bit. Everybody's out for themselves all the time. All right, custom fab, what else is new? I'm gonna have to cut a roll pin to the right length because I'm not happy with, see, that'll go right in there now. I'm not happy with the length of the next one shorter, that it's going to really hold back on this piece here. So I'm gonna have to saw it off just a little bit, you see. I need to saw it off from the right end. But I can make that happen, see? Then when we drive it in, we should be good to go. But we need to just absolutely, you know, do whatever we gotta do here. There's a bovine in the distance, heralding. You know, I don't know that this is gonna work. And I know why. I think I know why. I can't have put those bushings in because I don't think that I'm gonna have enough room to get all this in there. I might be wrong on that. If I do a test fit here, of course this piece is so mangled up now too from all this. Oh, I might get it. It might be fine. Because really that wouldn't have changed anything. Oh yeah, we'll get it, and then it'll spring back to there. But then when it goes up, that's gonna be when I think it'll go. Positive thoughts, friends. We can always take it apart a second time and take that back out. But I want this to go. So, what did I do with my roll pin? Well, let's take a look at this one. I got this one laying here. Oh, that one might be what I need. I guess I did get one. I don't know how that eluded me, but we're gonna try it. I'm gonna try the one that it's supposed to have. This is an exercise in patience as well, but it should be easier now that I don't have to worry about that sliding away. That was always a very much frustration. I need to have this ready because I've learned that if you can get that other thing on there and then clamp a vice grip, that'll buy you some time whilst you try to do your hammering. Yeah, so that's where we want that. So now, if I had been a smart man, I would have been more prepared than I am, which I am not. Almost. Gotta try again. Didn't get it. Not gonna work. Not doing well. Not prepared. Okay, use your brain, dum-dum. We did not use our brain. We used it as a paperweight right there instead of a brain. We're gonna do something I haven't tried before. I'm gonna put this in there and stick something through the hole and then switch to, yes. See, this would also give us a chance to try. Well, no, it wouldn't, because this piece will be over top of that hole when we're done. But right now, what this is gaining me is this, that I don't have to fight that spring the whole way to get that out of there. I think it's gonna work. I'm gonna leave that in there. I gotta go grab the hammer. Wasn't smart enough to bring that with me. Yep, you're gonna shut down again right when the action starts. But you know what? That's fine. You know what's happening. I'll bring you back when the sadness hits. Okay. I might try to put one in the center again of that, if I can find one. All right, moment of truth. Did that spring back over top of it? I think it did. It's about as good as it's gonna get by the way that it is now. But we're good. I think we're good. So if I would raise this, well, we're down now, so that's why I can't test my theorem easily, but I can go ahead and take these bolts the rest of the way out, try my clutch and see what I got. I'll probably have to raise it up to adjust it maybe. I don't want it to go too far and bust something. But if I do this now, that'll pull the teeth apart. Well, will it pull the teeth apart? Yeah, it'll pull the teeth apart. And then it'll let this. Well, yeah, that's what we want, see? It spins, but it doesn't dry. And if we go the other way, this is all not the way it really will be. This is just for your demonstration purposes, because the clutch will be in that, watching me, up here where I had it before I just took it loose to show you that. Of course, once again, my brain is slow to the chat. If I just did this. Okay, I raised the drill up. So with the drill up, now I can make my adjustment here so that I know that it's disengaged all the way. And it does need to be as far down as it can go, I think, in order for this to work. And then as you let it down, it'll pivot everything around and it will come together, which I can test here in a minute by putting it back down. But first I'm going to drop this about 12 times just to be sure, you know, just to be sure that everything is going to destroy. That arm is about wore out too. Probably should replace that. But not this go around. If I hold it, it's right there. We should be good to go. Just have to tighten a little bit. Maybe, kinda, sorta, orta. We're getting there, friends. We're getting there. All right. Now. Yes, donkeys. Sing the song of success. All right, you're about out of battery, but watch that clutch. Be able to freewheel it this way, and I am, so I think we're good to go. Shut this down. We're running out of battery fast. You're not gonna make it, but I think we're gonna have to call that the end of this part here, because we're about out of daylight. But I'm satisfied with what I did there. I think I greatly improved that. Anyway, what I'm saying is I got to figure out what the deal was with that piece, but I think we got this where it's going to work again. So we're going to keep putting on new parts in the next one, chains and idlers, and then we will take it out and we'll pull it running and see what happens. But I'm satisfied that maybe this time I've made it a lot more better. So sure. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. That helps out the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Leave a comment. Tell me that you liked it or tell me that you hated it. Tell me I'm a moron. I really don't care, but anything that you say helps us out too. So thank you again, as always, for watching, and I will see you in the next one.